Star Wars may be in big, big trouble. Lucasfilm has a hire that could put them in a dire situation. The Jeffrey Epstein documents are continuing to release, with those not expected to complete until January 21st. That's 10 more days. And now, documents and articles are beginning to resurface regarding Leslie Headland, the showrunner for The Acolyte. Folks, while we're not here to allege that she is involved or had any knowledge in criminal behavior, we are here to tell you that there's stuff out there now that should have Disney sweating, and we're going to reveal it to you right now. Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel. Happy to have everybody here with us today as we dive into entertainment. And in this case, it is, yet again, spicy when it comes to Lucasfilm. Oh my gosh, who could believe that there would be more spicy Lucasfilm news breaking at this very moment? And this one is exclusive to thatparkplace.com and to this channel. But joining us is someone who is exclusively good, and that is Culture Casino. Welcome back, sir.
Well, thanks for having me, Pro. I'm excited to be here. This is a story I started covering back in 2020.
And that is why we've brought you back. Of course, Lucasfilm has had lots of issues in the past couple of weeks. One of those issues is that the Jeffrey Epstein documents are releasing, and there are still 10 days left on those documents being released more and more. And what we discovered in the last few days was that if we looked at some of the documents, it actually had Harvey Weinstein reaching out to Jeffrey Epstein and being in collaboration at a time when we believe Leslie Headland, the current showrunner for The Acolyte, was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant, really drawing into question, what did she know? How close in proximity was she to all of this? And I think the bigger story, because those things are difficult for us to know, we're not a jury, we're not attorneys, so we would have to speculate. The bigger story is this is a potential Disney PR nightmare. Now, new stuff has come out going beyond these statements. The source also provided further clarification on the way in which Hollywood works with secret keepers. They know they have beans to spill and have to keep that trustworthy if you reciprocate with perks, pay, promotion factor in every hire. And somebody who has proven to have that is a real find for them, even with what we have to assume is a pretty strict NDA upon signing. This goes on to talk about the connection now with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, where we have this message that came out just recently, and this is the note detailing Harvey Weinstein communication with Jeffrey Epstein in 2005. According to what we know, Leslie Headland was actually employed by Mr. Weinstein from 2003 to 2007. That's what the article says. Folks, I recommend you read it. It goes into far, far more, and just tremendous stuff. Great work over there.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of, the norm there. That's the MO, the modus operandi. We get to see this all the time. A relative unknown, somebody who has done nothing other than produce like a screenplay version of being an assistant, specifically for Harvey Weinstein. That's how she got some kind of prominence. Ends up with a gig. It's unsurprising, and ever since I started covering her, there has been a lot of fishy in the background, and we were speculating even then that she was being given favors because of her association with Weinstein. I was going to say misdeeds for Weinstein, but I thought that might be stretching it. But maybe not. Oh, wait, the Salon article from 2017. Oh.
Culture, you sent this our way. I think it's significant because much of what went on has been swept under the rug at this point. But we dive deep and we go back in the past, and you helped us do so. This by Liz Posner out of Salon, What to Make of Weinstein's Young Female Assistant Who Aided Him in His Depravity. A mysterious female assistant helped to enable Harvey Weinstein's crimes. Here's why it's wrong to blame her. It says, if Hollywood were to make a movie about Harvey Weinstein, the roles of villain and victims are clearly already cast. But one compelling character in the still developing story has remained somewhat in the shadows. More than 50 women have publicly accused him, and all following the same general themes. But this particular shadowy character appears over and over in their accounts. A mysterious female assistant who escorted Weinstein to the women he was about to prey upon. Now, we have no idea who this woman is, to the best of my knowledge, except that it's a young female assistant. Now, this is where things get into that really murky territory of Leslie Headland, 2003 to 2007, was indeed a young female assistant, his personal assistant. Are we saying that Leslie Headland is this young female assistant? No, we are not. What we're saying is that when you have someone in all of these claims who is a young female assistant, and if you're Disney, and if you're hiring people to come up be your showrunners for Star Wars, maybe avoid young female assistants to Harvey Weinstein. Maybe avoid that, given this article in Salon. We don't know who the shadowy figure is, but...
the shadowy figure worked for Weinstein during the period where this note showed up about the associations to the island guy that we were talking about.
Fair enough. So but again, folks, we can't tell you that it's Leslie Headland.
It's true. It's true.
Right. We have no proof of that whatsoever. We're just saying, here's the thing. There is, what would you call this? Is it evidence? No. Is it a narrowing of the field of potential candidates? You bet. How's that? Culture, is that fair?
That is fair. I think we're narrowing it down. I think we're getting
we need young female assistants to Harvey Weinstein in the period of time that the note appeared, 2005, which just so happens to be the tenure of Leslie Headland. Fair?
Fair.
Now, let's step back. Folks, we're not telling you that Leslie Headland is involved in anything criminal, nor was she involved in a conspiracy. We're not alleging that at all, period. Do not walk away from this thinking that we're doing that. What we are saying is that if you're Disney, and if you have these things which narrow that field, and if there are 10 more days for documents to come out from the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, you got to be sweating some mouse bullets right now.
Yeah.
Culture? What would you recommend to Disney right now, considering this?
I don't know. I mean, if there's a way to distance yourself from this person or this show or any of these the things that you've kind of worked with her on, you do it. You try to soften things. You try to. I don't know. The PR problem. The PR problem's huge here. If her name comes out.
If we'll say it again, folks.
If her name comes out in association with any of this, if she's actually tied to Harvey, if she's actually tied to the island situation, they've got a world of hurt, a world of trouble. And they can claim ignorance, but again, I mean, you just showed an article for 2017 from a particular news source that is politically aligned on Disney's side of things currently. So you have, and this is just one of many articles written talking about the assistants. I believe there was a Los Angeles Times piece on this, which I can't find anymore. There were some other things that were out there that were tied to this assistant that helped Harvey secure suites and other things like that, which was a normal practice. And if that's tied to anybody that's associated with Disney or any other company, to be honest with you, any other, they're now painted with the same brush. They're smeared with the same muck. And if you're Disney, you really wish that Xenia was still around because their current PR team stinks. Yes,
and culture, 2 points to be made here. One is that, were we talking about the mob? And I think this is worse than the mob. I think that Epstein and Weinstein are the worst of the worst. I think they're just, there's a spot in hell next to Satan for these guys. That said, if we were talking about the mob, and you said, well, who's the leader of the mob? And you pointed at that guy, and you said, well, who's his assistant? Who's his secretary? The assistant or the secretary is going to fall under serious scrutiny at that point.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why we're supposed to not have serious scrutiny for Leslie Headland, but that's apparently. I mean, we're supposed to celebrate that she's show running the Acolyte. Also, I want to say, folks, in the full acknowledgement of the spectrum of trying to get at the truth, don't watch just this video.
No,
we've covered this in the last days, and we had on the Script Doctor, who's been on this channel many times. He came on and said, in his estimation, and I hope that I'm articulating this in the way that he would want me to, but in his estimation, she might not have known anything. She could have been kept completely in the dark on all of this. And so we've had different voices on this. I just want to make that clear. And now, culture, because we've given multiple voices to this, go ahead.
No, I want to make it clear that I'm not asserting that for certain.
Right.
I'm speculating.
And so what I think should happen here, culture, is let's let Leslie Headland speak. The former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein from 2003 to 2007, according to RottenTomatoes.com, who, by the way, is there when that note comes out that connects Weinstein to Epstein, who is now the showrunner for the Acolyte. Okay, all truthful statements here. Let's let her speak at this time. Here we go.
I think white women need to kind of step up their game, to be quite honest. Like, sorry, but I'm calling you bitches out. Like, you really do. Cause like, you know, there's like, I couldn't agree more with everything that these brilliant women are saying. But like, I'm also seeing the silent killer, which is a lot of white women at the top who are kind of reinforcing a lot of old ideas. I think a lot of it, you know, to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll just speak from my own personal experience. It's just like, I wasn't sure how to be an ally. I wasn't sure what type. I got so caught up in like what kind of terminology I was supposed to be using and being politically correct. And so as I started to rise.
Culture, do you find it at all odd that someone who was the personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein was caught up in the correct political speech that she was supposed to have?
Yeah. I don't know how to respond to that, bro.
You cannot epitomize virtue signaling any better than that. This woman has just given us the perfect example of virtue signaling. Vapid virtue signaling. Yes, I helped Harvey Weinstein with his affairs from day to day. Yes, although I might not be a criminal and I might be totally naive and innocent, I'm still in close proximity to the devil himself, but I was getting my pronouns right, darn it.
That's
Jeez,
right.
Louise. Jeez,
I didn't know how to do it, but yeah, it's funny.
Vision, I started to just get more blunt and just start saying like, I would like a black writer, because if I said diverse, you know, you get, well, white is diverse, which is something somebody said to me. And I was like, wow.
So culture, is it okay to start wanting employees specifically solely based on their race?
No.
That's probably not even legal, I would think.
That's actually an ism, which apparently is a bad thing. I mean, it truly is. Honestly, I was just joking there. But no, that is actually incredibly illegal. I mean, we are going to see lawsuits. We're already starting to see lawsuits based on this preferential treatment, just like we saw post-civil rights movement.
Here's what I'll say, culture.
Yeah.
Imagine that you're someone, and let's say that Miss Headland is utterly innocent, okay? Mm-hmm. We have speculated in this video. We have not said anything definitive. We're not going to. For theory's sake, let's say she's utterly innocent. She knew nothing about what was going on with Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein. If I'm a person such as she, one of the strategies that I might come up with is that I might attempt to ride this new cultural wave of representation in DEI and ESG and make myself someone that is very difficult then to be painted as connected to Harvey Weinstein, because I am so virtuous. I'm so virtuous that I am attacking white women, whom I am. I am attacking writers who are not specifically black or brown or whoever it is that I'm demanding. Give me the black writer. I think that's the strategy I might use to crawl my way away from Harvey Weinstein. What do you think about that idea, culture?
Oh, I think that's exactly what she's doing and many others are doing. I mean, she's following a tried and true pattern a lot of crisis PR teams would have recommended to you during the height of the Me Too movement, during the height of the Time's Up movement. This is the playbook to distance yourself from any past deeds that you did. And again, I mean, the likes of which was never better practiced than by people like Xenia Muncha, who Disney, as I mentioned before, truly misses. So,
to go back to the original article,
yeah,
former Hollywood executive assistant alleges Leslie Headland given Star Wars the Acolyte series job to keep silent on Harvey Weinstein. You know, I don't know if that's true or not. I can only report what's been sent our way. I can only say, I can only say that we have winnowed the field considerably in terms of who the shadowy figure could be, but it doesn't have to be Leslie Headland at all. And we can't say that for sure. Hey, what we can say.
Amelia did a good job on this article, folks. If you get a chance, read it.
What we can say, yeah, there's a lot in there.
Yeah. What
we can say is that Disney has a significant PR worry, and they should be worried. And I don't understand, Culture, I guess this is where I want to wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why they gave themselves this level of risk unnecessarily. I don't understand why they hired this woman who has an extreme proximity to evil, although she may be totally innocent. There are lots of people in this world who they came close to criminality and extreme criminality. And yes, Harvey Weinstein is in a jail, probably for the rest of his life, for criminality. And she was close to it, although she may not have been participatory and she may have been utterly naive of it. That said, there are lots of people out there who came that close, and they're basically untouchable from then on, because you don't want to have anybody associated with a Harvey Weinstein or a Jeffrey Epstein working for you. And yet Disney hired her. They didn't just hire her and put her, on a writing team, put her in the writer's room. They made her the showrunner. And she doesn't have, Culture, any significant credits that I would look at and say, yeah, she's well suited to do Star Wars. It's kind of like Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, except in this case, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, you can at least look back and say, well, she took on some really evil forces. In this case, you could say Leslie Headland was in close proximity with really evil forces, whether or not she herself participated in that evil. But, right. I don't know. No claim here against Leslie Headland. We'll say it 100 times, folks, because this is so dangerous and spicy to even talk about. But I feel like we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Culture, why is it important to talk about things? And why do you think Disney ultimately hired this woman?
Well, and again, I'm with the same kind of information that comes along with this article, but it's incredibly important to speak the truth when we believe we have it. It's incredibly important to be aware of what is going on in the background and why. It informs everything about the things that we love, and we should stay informed about things that we love, and even especially if they're doing bad things. First of all, you have to ask yourself, would you be surprised if she was tied up in this? That's the first question I always ask myself when I'm covering a spicy story like this. And the question is, that question is so important because you should know, you want to know. And then it starts to shape your opinion about the previously held opinions that you had and what your misconceptions are. And I think that we all need to be well informed, including if you're an investor. Let's say you are, an investor like I am, just a little meager peon according to Disney and the institutionals. But if you're an investor, you want to be informed if there's something coming down the road that's going to hurt your investment. There are 1,000 different reasons to be informed of this, but there's no dismissing the moral one, which is you need to protect your family from companies that would not necessarily align with your belief system.
We'll finish here, Culture. This is the end of the Salon piece.
Yeah.
It says, it's appalling that Harvey Weinstein coerced his young female assistants, now that's a plurality.
It is, yeah.
Into betraying their fellow women in this way.
Yep.
Weinstein promised them and his victims that he would boost their careers if they tolerated and enabled his perversions.
Which he did.
And Leslie Headland is the showrunner of Star Wars. I'm not saying that she participated. I'm just saying that Salon really narrows this down. There's not so many, I think, that you can come up with to say who they are.
I have one capper question, bro, before we wrap up.
Please.
Who owns Miramax now?
Is it a certain mouse, Culture?
I think so.
There's a mouse
I'll have to check that out.
This manipulation is what allowed Weinstein to sustain his power for so long. And here's the switcheroo that Salon does. So let's think twice before assigning blame to the young female assistant or anyone else. It distracts from the depravity of the crime doer himself. In other words, don't blame those who are privy to the crime. Don't blame those who are assistants to the crime. Don't blame those who facilitate the crime, because they would muddy up the waters. They would make it murky. They would show that it's men and women who do wrong. And in the case of what we have here with the Epstein documents, we'll hang tight, folks. We want to say it one last time. We are not claiming that Leslie Headland knew or was involved in criminality. We're saying that this is a huge PR disaster in the making if documents come out which make those connections. And when we are talking about one of the biggest, most depraved, most disgusting scandals that Hollywood has ever seen, and those who worked directly under Weinstein as his personal assistants, they need to be under scrutiny, especially when there are apparently shadowy, young female assistants, and when that narrows who that could be dramatically. Culture, thank you for helping us parse through this. It is difficult to even talk about, and up until just a few days ago, you really couldn't talk about it. Now we can, but we're being as careful as we possibly can be so that we can continue to have the megaphone that we have been provided with. Culture, where can folks find you on this great, big, beautiful web?
It's actually really simple. You can find me at Culture Casino everywhere. YouTube, Minds, Getter, Twitter, and of course, Rumble and Odyssey. My goodness, I'm a lot of places, but it's all Culture Casino. Please check me out. The channel is growing. Thank you.
Fantastic. Folks, it's time for you to participate now. Like, share, subscribe. When you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And please, folks, keep it respectful and be careful with what you say. Not because you should be worried, but simply because you should want to be truthful, just as we have attempted to do so here. All right, folks, that's it for today. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
This is one big cultural appropriation, don't you think?
What do you mean? We're just celebrating the Year of Medmut.
There's no thing called the Year of Medmut. There's a dog, but not a Medmut. Where did you get this from? Were you reading Time magazine again?
No, but I just figured that since he's so generous, he deserved to be like Star of the Year. The goat, if you will.
No.
We all know goats are hot.
You're just trying to suck up to him to get a membership on our channel, aren't you?
Maybe.
That's so disgusting. I'd say you should be ashamed of yourself, but trying to butter up to him like that... Then again, it is you.
Look, man, butter worked on Jonas.
Putting butter on a second-degree burn isn't a solution. Besides that, there's like another restraining order against you going near anyone in the kitchen. But you know what there isn't a court order for? Subscribing to WDW Pro and bookmarking thatparkplace.com, where John Trent is editor-in-chief, so you can keep ahead of the culture curve and get accurate information, which will also keep you from getting burned by the mainstream media.
So you are saying I did a sick burn?
You're an idiot. Now clean all this up.
Yeah, I'm not cleaning this up.